Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talking about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, guys. So we have all been through some ups and downs leadership-wise with the Raiders the past few seasons. We can understand what it looks like when there is a positive, strong leadership at the helm and when there is kind of like a funky, flaky, fleeting leadership at the helm. We know for a fact there is nothing to tell us otherwise. Pete Carroll is a strong, granite, rock-solid leader moving forward. He doesn't look back for excuses. He looks back to learn and to keep pushing forward. That's what we're looking to do right now. There's a lot to learn from what Pete's done in the past and what he's looking to do with this team in the future. This interview we're going to listen to is from a little bit ago, but it gives a lot of insight on what's been happening in free agency up till now and what to look forward to in the draft moving forward and beyond. So let's take a listen to what we have going on with Pete Carroll in this interview. But before we do, everyone, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's a great way to support this channel. It's just us here, guys. Raider Nation, Raiders versus the world. It's everyone against us, so we got to band together and be together for each other. It's absolutely free and the absolute minimum you can do to support this channel, besides doing nothing, just watching the video, which I do appreciate as well. All right, guys, let's get into this interview.
Indianapolis, the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Pete Carroll. And Pete, first combine as the head coach of the Silver and Black. I know still very early in the process, but what are the excitement levels to be here and getting a lot of work done?
Well, there is a lot of excitement because we're representing something that we're challenged by, that we can see that there's a chance to do something really special, and so it's really fun to be back. I haven't been gone that long, but I'm probably having more fun than I should for being in the NFL Combine. But so it's been good so far.
Before we look ahead to the now, I just want to go back a little bit. We're about a month in change from you and John arriving. Like, what has life been like for you and the family in Vegas? Right, a new market, a new community, a new place to learn the people.
Yeah, it has been an absolute blur. Really, we have not settled down. I haven't turned a TV on in a month. I'm not, other than to watch some old highlight of a game or something somebody tells me to watch. I'm not watching. We're just inundated with everything. It's from the staff to the organization to free agency, our own free agents, players in the building, the coaching staff. We're doing football meetings as well. I met for 3 hours this morning, with the defensive staff before coming over here. It just doesn't stop. So there hasn't been a whole lot of family time. The family time was during this off season. We had a great time, but right now it's all about business.
And kind of just hearing you speak in the early goings and talking to some folks around the league, one thing that keeps coming up, and in addition to your willingness, your desire to compete, is that desire to constantly improve and to be able to kind of find the margins and figure out how do we get better at this and how do we get better at that. How do you still focus on doing that, as knowing that you guys have had the ultimate success in the NFL?
Well, you either compete or you're not. There's no in between here on this thing, and there's phrases that guide me. There's commitments that I've made in the past that make me have to stay on course to keep it rolling. If you're in a relentless pursuit of finding the competitive edge in everything you're doing, you got to be on. And so part of it's staying curious and being willing to adapt and change and all of that. All of that excitement is what draws me to keep pushing it the way we're doing it. It's not hard. It's just fun, really, is what it amounts to.
We were talking to John this morning, and he said one of the major things over the past 6 weeks, and obviously going into this week as well throughout the course of the offseason, is kind of having that commonality and that understanding of what you want, what he wants, and making sure that everyone is rowing in the same direction. Like, how you talked earlier about the importance of that relationship between head coach and GM. Like, how do you go about building that in a natural, organic way?
Well, we really do have an approach, that I'm working to share with the organization in meeting with the personnel people as well as our coaches, and then eventually it'll be with the team and all of that, and trying to extend the message through this avenue here to our fans and the people that follow us. What really makes this really accessible is the makeup of Tom Brady and the makeup of John Spytek, the makeup of Egon Durbin and Michael Melvin, Todd Wagner. We are all in this for one reason, is to do something really special. and that we're going to go for it. We're not holding anything back. And to be in that environment and that mentality, representing Mark Davis, just a great thrill. So it's not going to be hard for us to go for it, and it's not going to be hard for us to be charged and working off of one another and continuing to feed off of each other's energy. And so. I feel kind of in the middle. I got to be responsible for tapping on all that, and I look forward to that challenge.
You're talking about Tom earlier. You said he's just this ultimate competitor and one of the most competitive people you've ever been around. Was there a moment where you had a conversation with Tom and you're like, oh, this guy really is going to bring that competitive spirit to the forefront of everything that we're doing here in Las Vegas?
He is definitely doing that, Eddie. He is not going to miss out on a chance to make his statement about what he feels about stuff, and it's always from the mentality of, we're going to keep pushing, we're going to keep striving to get something done in a special manner, and if people don't want to come with us or they can't hang, they're going to fall by the wayside. And it's been really clear. His mentality is strong and clear and obvious, and so I'm thrilled to be part of it, because we share that kind of thinking.
How do you, we talked earlier, we heard from you earlier, and you said, there's this excitement, this eagerness to do it now, to be at the forefront, to be aggressive, to like you said, to go for it, right? But how do you kind of find that balance in having that desire, but also wanting to do something in a sustained way, doing something in a measured way, doing something that is going to be here for 3, 4, 5, hopefully a decade from now?
No, I don't know if we're going to find the balance in that, because it's kind of a really out of balance mentality. But we're hoping to lay a groundwork that's going to be able to be sustained for a long time. And I don't look at, I'm here for a year or two and that's it. I'm looking to see how long we can make us uncommonly consistently good, and so that's a driving force that is ongoing here. It's interesting to me to reconnect with the Raiders mentality. It's going all the way back to Al Davis, being a Bay Area guy and growing up under all of that time, those times in the 60s when he was getting this thing rolling. I'm thrilled to be part of that, but whether it came from him, I don't know, but to really know what you want and be able to vision what you're trying to create is a powerful tool. And so I know Al was able to do that and created this unbelievable global, brand for in the NFL. Or we're trying to do it over the last 25 years, and what we're doing with our football, we're trying to be uncommonly consistent at doing stuff like other people can't do. And so it's just what my life has become, and so it's part of what we're living for, and so it's just a really exciting time for us.
And it's probably easy to get fired up, to get that energy, to feel that passion when you look at the teams in this division, right? An ultra-competitive division,
Lord, yeah.
a division that really for the past, decade or so feels like in many ways has been kind of the creme de la creme of the NFL. Like when you take a look at the landscape of the division, like how much does seeing the Andy Reids, the Mahomes, the Harbaughs really get that blood pumping and go out there and compete and do this at a high level?
Yeah, to do great things, you have to beat great teams. You have to, and you have to be willing to face that and take on the challenges. If you can't do that, you're going to be ordinary. And so this division has just made that more obvious than ever. And to go against the great coaching background of Andy and what Sean has done and what Jim Harbaugh has stood for over the years, or wherever he's gone to be successful, that's what you should expect. If you want to be great, you got to go against the great ones, and you got to beat the great ones. And so that's just part of the calling here, and it's just built into it. So I'm not worried about that one bit. I'm not going to be worried about them. We're going to be concerned about what we're doing and how we're going to put our team together, and then we'll see how far we can take it.
Coach, before I let you go, I want to ask you about this, because we heard from John, and when I was kind of going through my notes, both of you guys brought up the fact that it's so important to you in each of your stops that you've been at, the value of treating people the right way and building those relationships and understanding that in many ways this is a people business. Like, how important, where did that come from for you, and like how important is it, like you said, to be aligned with John and understanding like how we treat people is really the way that we're going to do everything in this organization?
Yeah, that's a real long answer, so we won't be able to cover all of that. But really, from the first day, I made the comment that we're in a relationship-based organization now, and that means that everybody in the organization counts, and everybody matters, and we're going to treat people with great respect and great regard, and build the relationships through that kind of caring. And it was what I was really excited to see when it came from SC, where we had really done something something, and then see if we go to the NFL, could the same approach where you really are concerned about the people that you're dealing with on a regular basis, and you treat them with respect and understanding and compassion and love, that you can go special places that other approaches might not be able to get to. And so it is what we stand for, and I can't wait to do it again here. I'm not wondering if it's going to work. I know it's going to work. It's just how long is it going to take us to really get it cranking?
Yeah.
And so because that's all accelerated and juiced up, I'm counting on it going right now.
Yeah, we love it. Last one, Coach. One thing that really stood out to me in hearing you talk earlier was it feels like you view yourself as a steward of the team, right? You talked about kind of being involved in the community, being a mouthpiece for everything going on with this team. Like, how important is that for you to, like you said, be a steward of this team and really preach what this organization is trying to accomplish both on and off the field?
I look at that as a competitive opportunity, to get our people riled up about what we're all about, to show up, to be excited, to bring the energy. That's all part of helping us win. And so I'm counting on our fans to take some more of those seats and not sell their tickets to people from outside of town and make it a little bit crazier. And we don't want to go silent count in our own stadium and all those kinds of things. There's an edge to be gained right there. And I have great respect for the factor that they bring. And so Raider Nation is hugely valuable and important to us. And we want to give them back something special to make this whole thing be very, very synergistic. And so that's just the way you approach. You either compete or you're not. And there's nowhere to just let it go. So this is one of them.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you carving out a few minutes for us here in the Combine. I know an incredibly busy week for you and the staff. So best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
You got it. Thanks for having me.
Wow. That was a lot. And that was a lot with a lot of meat to it. It wasn't a lot of fluff. Everything that was said was direct and to the point, and it had impact. Let's start with this. Uncommonly consistent. That's amazing. We want to be uncommonly consistent. We want to be so consistent that people don't see anything else from us. They just see what we give them every single time, every single play, every single game. Now, you combine that with what was said earlier with the competition and just everyone wanting to be at their best. And if you can't hang, out of Pete Ward's mouth himself, if you can't hang, we're going to move on and you're going to be left by the wayside. So you put those two things together, uncommonly consistent and high expectations of ourselves. So that consistency isn't like uncommonly consistent being mediocre or being bad or being good or pretty good or really good. It's excellent. It's commitment to excellence. If you take just a phrase to encapsulate everything that Pete Carroll said, it's a commitment to excellence. You're going to be uncommonly consistent at a very high level. That's what we expect out of every single person in the organization, every single person on the field, on the sidelines, in the background, in the front office. Everyone is expected 110% every single time. That is what I love about Pete Carroll. He takes you along the journey, but when he's done, he's made it very clear what his expectations are of himself and of everybody else. Because I'm telling you something right now, Pete Carroll is not going to ask anything from anybody else he doesn't already expect at a very high level from himself. Another thing that I really love is how he treats the people. There's different ways that we've seen how people are treated in this organization. You had kind of the John Gruden way, which was like he had his little favorites and everyone else was kind of like everyone else, right? You had the JMDs running in, and the JMD was like, everyone's a robot. You guys are all replaceable. You guys just, come in here, workman like, whatever, do your job type of thing, right? AP was like, yo, man, we're all in this together. Let's, rally around each other. But that was more of like let's rally around each other despite what's going on. Pete Carroll is very similar to that. Let's rally around each other, but with a high level of expectation. And there is no oops. There is no, well, we'll get him next time. It's this time is the time to do it. Pete Carroll said something that was very important to me, for me to hear. I know it's going to work. I know what I'm doing is going to work. It just depends on how long it's going to take to work. There's two ways of looking at that. And I love the mentality. The mentality is expect from yourself at a high level because you know what you're doing is the right thing to do. It kind of bleeds into a lot of the philosophies from a lot of coaches out there. I talked about it before. There's coaches, teachers, right? And then there's just implementers. Implementers like a Josh McDaniels type of guy. He has his system. He wants to implement his system and blah, 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 and this and that. Basically, what he's trying to do is he's trying to make the system that he runs, what he sees as being the best thing to do, he wants to hone it to make it its best so it works no matter where he goes. That's one attitude and that's one mindset. Pete Carroll's mindset on the other end is, let me learn as much off of what works, as far as also learning why it worked. So I can go anywhere and I can be successful because I not only know what worked in other places, I understood why it worked. So if it's not the same exact situation when I go somewhere else, I do understand why things work, and that'll lead me on the path to success. And that path to success is going straight through Vegas and straight through Raider Nation. I wholeheartedly believe this is going to be the case. I have so much faith in what Pete Carroll can do, and as far as not only developing players but a coaching staff. There's high hopes and there's high times ahead for all of Raider Nation. All right, guys, that's my time for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's a great way to support this channel. It's just us, guys, Raiders versus the world, okay? And it's absolutely free, and it's the bare minimum you can do to support this channel and watch it grow, besides doing absolutely nothing and just watching the video, which is cool too. All right, guys, that's my time. Until next time, everybody, peace. Hey, Raider Nation, thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button, drop a comment, make sure to subscribe, and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.